ask some hobby while I rant.
I swear these story times on YouTube and TikTok are either so generic or so random. It could either be like, I eat breakfast today and then went to school, but I had homework. These teachers be crazy, you know? Or just like, you know when you go to the potion shop and you ask the magic cat witch to fix your shoes, but she doesn't want to, so she just makes you a frog for the rest of the day? No. I do not relate to that. Either way, it doesn't matter what it's about. Everyone is so invested and constantly eating it all up in the comments. As long as it has a fast-paced rant, has an obby of some sort, and has some type of funny voice generator, people will be invested in it. People could just come up with some random story time that doesn't make sense, and people will still watch it. Like, let's all listen to Bumble Waffleton, the third story time about becoming the mayor of a marshmallow town. He'd be all like, story time about the day I accidentally became the mayor of a town made of marshmallows. So, one day, I was just minding my own business, right? I was sitting in my room, eating a handful of pretzels shaped like little dinosaurs. You know, the ones where the T-Rex looks slightly confused for some reason? Yeah, those. Anyway, I reached for another one, and poof, suddenly the bag was empty, and I was like, well, that's dramatic. So I got up to go get more snacks because obviously that's the #1 priority in life. But when I opened my bedroom door, instead of my hallway, I walked straight into a giant glowing marshmallow forest. Everything was squishy. The trees were marshmallows, the grass was mini marshmallows, the sky was cotton candy, and the clouds, they were literally floating whipped cream. I was too stunned to speak. Right in front of me, a tiny marshmallow bunny hops up wearing a top hat and holding a tiny clipboard. He clears his throat politely and goes, "Ahem, welcome. We have been expecting you." Which is very alarming to hear from a marshmallow rabbit. I ask him, expecting me? For what exactly? And he says, well, obviously you're here to be our new mayor. The only problem, I had no idea what qualifications were required to run a marshmallow civilization, but the bunny assured me it was mostly making sure no one melted in the sun and organizing marshmallow movie night Mondays, which honestly sounded kind of peaceful. So before I know it, I am being paraded through the Marshmallow Town Square. Everyone is cheering. They hand me a sash that just says mayor, probably. I'm not gonna lie, it was kind of flattering. But here's where things get chaotic. There was a problem in Marshmallow Town. A very serious problem. A giant hot chocolate lake surrounded the village, which sounds great. Except there was a dragon who lived in the hot chocolate, but not like a scary dragon. A dragon who was just way too dramatic. Her name was Delilah, and she would randomly rise out of the chocolate, flick her wings, and start yelling, "Who stole my marshmallow crown?" And then go back underwater for 3 hours. No one knew what crown she was talking about. So as mayor, I had to investigate. I gathered the marshmallow citizens. I asked questions. I followed clues. I interviewed a gummy bear detective named Detective Wiggle, who talked in slow motion because he was very sticky, and after hours of searching, we finally found the crown. It was sitting on top of a squirrel who was asleep in a hammock made of Twizzlers. Apparently, he just thought it was a cute hat. So we returned the crown to Delilah the chocolate dragon, and she is like, "Oh, thank you, I'm calm now." And then she threw a giant party. There was music made from candy cane flutes, and everyone bounced on marshmallow trampolines. And as the night went on, the sky sparkled like someone spilled glitter. And I thought, wow, this is probably the most peaceful and extremely random day of my life. Then I blinked, and suddenly, I was back in my room, holding a single pretzel dinosaur, like nothing ever happened. But sometimes, when I make hot chocolate, I see a little marshmallow bunny waving at me from the phone.
Oh, yeah? Did I catch your attention? Are you still here, listening to this random story that doesn't really make sense, yet you still were invested to further out what would happen next?